Howdy guys, Zelda42293 here. Welcome back to Love is Strange. In the last episode, we ended up shopping with Victoria, which was quite a bit of a surprise. And in this episode, we're going to be taking our contest photo, since it is Thursday. By the time it's morning, I'm so exhausted that the light of the sun just seems blinding instead of nice and warm. It's probably because I spent all that time awake last night, texting Victoria, when I could have been getting some much-needed sleep instead. It's totally too late to take all that back now, in exchange for another hour of sleep. And really, it's not like I want to either. Sadly, that still can't take away from the fact that I'm sleepy. Victoria texted me again this morning too, telling me she'd meet up with me in an hour so we could get going. I glanced back down at our conversation from this morning with a quick little quirk to my lips. Meet me at the courtyard in an hour. I swear to God, if you sleep in, I'll come and drag your ass out of bed myself. Good morning to you too, Victoria. I'll be there. Victoria hasn't shown up yet, but I know she will. At this point, it's better to just trust her. At the same time, I can't help but feel pretty self-conscious, standing out in the courtyard while wearing my new outfit. It's way different trying it on than trying it out in public with everyone around. But at the same time, it's cool. I've gotten a few compliments so far. Even Brooke, with her abrasive tendency, had stopped to tell me I look different in a surprisingly good way. That's as close as I'll ever come to have her really complimenting me, instead of eyeballing me viciously the whole time. And don't even get me started on Dana. How could I think I could ever escape her clutches? Halfway down the hall, she dragged me into one of her bear hugs, making it totally hard to breathe while squished up. That girl has got a grip. I fixed my mussed up hair a bit, shifting on my feet. My attention goes back to my cell phone, and I tuck it back into my pocket before I can get too fixated on the time. Victoria's still not here yet, and I don't want to get too hung up on waiting for her. When she comes, she'll come. Plus, it's not as if she's late. I'm just kinda early. I'm more anxious about this contest than I previously thought. So even while I'm exhausted, I've been kind of just mulling around the courtyard, snapping pictures of squirrels and anything else that catches my attention. Not that doing so did anything else to ease my nerves. It was easy to forget how nerve-wracking the contest actually is when I was so caught up in everything else. Everything else being the code name for getting along suspiciously well with Victoria Chase. Nice to see you followed my advice. Victoria's voice comes suddenly from behind me, and I whirl around to face her. Wow. She looks stylish as always, maybe even more so than usual. A feat I didn't think was possible. I can tell she's put a lot of effort into looking her best for our project. I didn't expect any less of her. Did you expect me not to? I wouldn't have been surprised if you bailed and decided to show up in your usual rags instead. She is wearing her usual rags in the picturing her. Well, it must be a bug. I can feel Victoria's eyes on me for a whole 30 seconds, and then she's barreling ahead, leading the way. Naturally, I follow. Is that your way of saying I look nice? Victoria looks over her shoulder at me, catching the smile I throw her way. Almost too quickly, she looks ahead again. I already told you that earlier. Don't tell me your memory is running dry too. Definitely not. I couldn't forget it, even if I wanted to. I wonder if you still thought so. I was just wondering if you still thought so, maybe. I rub at the back of my neck, falling behind her with a little smile. Victoria slows down slightly. What? You hardly look any different. What, did you think my opinion would change after seeing you? I shrug, feeling a little dumb for bringing it up. Well, selfies work differently from real life. God, Max, have some confidence for once. It works wonders. Victoria sounds a little distant, saying that. I rub at my arm, frowning at her back. Sorry. Victoria just waves me off. So we have something we should probably talk about. We do? I can practically sense the telltale scoff from Victoria at my smart response. Only it doesn't ever actually come. Huh? Yes, it's important, so we should probably get it over with now. Victoria glances at me, and it'd be really dense of me not to notice the serious tone she suddenly takes on. Before I can think twice, I gulp. If she's that serious, I wonder what it is. It's about the project? What else? I don't know. Maybe you decided it was time to have a heart-to-heart? I tease, and she just rolls her eyes at me. I totally swear I can see the faintest smile on her lips, though. It's gone just as quick. I was going over the rules again last night. We missed something important. We missed something? There's no way. Out of literally anyone, I know that Victoria read the rules from top to bottom when we first got them. I know because I did it too. And if I'm thorough about this, there's absolutely no way she isn't. Victoria's got such a tight grip on everything that I can't imagine she'd miss something. Like? I don't remember anything sticking out that seems like a huge problem. Victoria heaves a huge sigh, and she pinches the bridge of her nose. The rules, Max. Remember the rules? The rules? Isn't it just all about cooperation? Bonds between people and all that stuff? I have a feeling I'm not getting it, because Victoria looks about ready to say something again. And, then we have to submit a photo. I pause as soon as the words are off my tongue, realizing just what they mean in the context of a problematic approach. The rules aren't that unusual, it's just... Oh. One photo. I can hear Victoria inhale slowly, and I wonder if the implication is hitting Victoria as hard as it's hitting me right now. What am I saying? Of course it is. She must have spent all of last night thinking about it. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. That doesn't ease the clench in my chest at all. In fact, it kind of worsens it. One photo to submit. 2 photographers. Victoria slows down, eventually coming to a full stop. I'm glad for it, because talking about this while walking doesn't really sound like the best idea. Exactly. I was wondering what you think we should do about that. Victoria runs her fingers through her bangs, a little crease between her brows. Her lips are slanted downward, and I've never seen her look so troubled. Angry, yes. Troubled, no. It's reassuring that she's freaking out about it as much as me. What do you think we should do? I honestly don't know. I don't know. What do you think we should do? Victoria makes a face at me, furrowing her brows and then clicking her tongue. I didn't ask you so you could turn the question around on me. Weakly, I shrug and lean back on my heels. So you don't know either. Christ! Luckily for the both of us, I do have an idea. The oblivious solution would be to pick the best photo out of the bunch. Between the both of us, of course. The way Victoria says it sounds like a competition or something. Which is probably the exact opposite of what Mr. Dog wants us to do. Of course, Victoria could manage to make this even sound like a competition between us. I scrunch up my nose and Victoria frowns at me. I know that look. Spit it out. Doesn't that sound like a little too competitive for, what this contest is supposed to be about? Victoria, for what it's worth, manages to seem caught off guard at the question. She sobers up quickly enough, scoffing. Max, it's not like we're not going to be working together. There's a difference between us competing and us choosing the best photo for us. It'll probably be yours. I blurt out without fully thinking it, and as soon as I do, I shut my eyes and hold back a groan. Nice one, Max. Way to throw your insecurities out there. I don't hear Victoria saying anything at first. That's not true. Shocking as this might seem, I'm working with you for a reason. Victoria shifts on her feet, and I notice that she's not meeting my eyes. It's a little jarring. She almost looks uncomfortable. You have talent, so own the fuck up to it, Max. Oh, I probably sound like an idiot because I can't find the words to express how her words really make me feel. I settled on expressing my gratitude instead. It's the only thing I can get right. Thanks, Victoria. My words come out a little breathy. What's leaving me so tongue-tied isn't the fact that she's praising me at all. It's that she's treating me like an equal instead of shutting me down. That she's actually acknowledging the fact that I have some sort of talent. I have no clue if she knows how much that means to me. Probably not, because not even I had a clue how much that meant to me until she said it. We should get going. Victoria jerks her head in the direction of the parking lot, gesturally vaguely towards it. She takes a step forward, pausing only briefly to make sure I'm following. This time, we walk in sync with each other. Victoria has faith in me, or my talent, or in my talent at least. I love to think it's the former. We make it to the boardwalk in almost no time at all, thanks to Victoria's nice car and the lack of traffic this early in the morning. Not that traffic is ever much of an issue in Arcadia Bay. Anyways, but that's not exactly the point. Despite the near stillness of the streets, there's still quite a few people here, making the boardwalk look just lively enough for our shoot. I hope. For Victoria's sake. And mine. I actually can't tell too much, and that worries me. Maybe I should have planned ahead. I didn't exactly think we'd be out here so early, so maybe I'd been too reliant on the hustle and bustle of the boardwalk to get our shoot going. I guess it could have helped. I guess it couldn't be helped, considering Victoria was really insistent on meeting up early. I wonder how she had that much energy, even after we spent all that time texting each other last night. I know I'm still kind of exhausted. Despite that, the anxiousness crawling down my back makes me bounce my leg a little, and I clutch at my camera bag, ready to get out there and scope out the area. Victoria glances over at me, unbuckling her seatbelt. Christ, you look like you're ready to run a mile a minute. Just get ready to get out there and snap some photos. I shrug weakly, and I'm not exactly lying. I just don't feel the need to tell her that I'm worried about her liking the spot I've picked, considering the lack of subjects. Not what I planned at all. Aren't you? Victoria scoffs at me, threading her fingers through her hair and shaking her head at me. Me? Please, I'm more than ready. Don't I look the part? I scoff this time, and when Victoria shoots me a look, I shoot her a smile in return. What, are you expecting me to tell you how amazing you look? Because I didn't know my opinion mattered that much. Ugh, dream on. I just wanted to see if you could state the obvious. Ouch, I'm hurt. Aw, sad face. Poor little hipster. Victoria throws me a smirk. It only lasts a moment before she sobers up completely, her gaze going inquisitive. Enough about that. We have actual, real, important matters to discuss. About you, in particular. About me? Yeah, about you. Victoria gives me a once-over again, and honestly, it doesn't help my nerves in the least. You're nervous. Oh, I rubbed the back of my neck, shrugging my shoulders weakly again. I should have known Victoria would catch on. She's not exactly stupid. Not that I can make it hard anyways. With the frequency my leg is bouncing, I can't help it. I'm just full of energy to burn. A little. She sighs loudly, opening the car door. Before she steps out, she gestures vaguely to my camera bag, and then to me. Please, you shouldn't be. Put that artistic vision to work, Max. I know you can. She slides out of the car, and I force a little smile at the encouragement. I know, I guess you're right. I push open the door, fumbling with my bag, and for an instant before I actually manage to get out. You guess? I am. In any case, shouldn't I be the one freaking out? Victoria places a hand on her hip, raising a brow at me. I raise a brow in return, waiting for her explanation. Since I let you drag me here in the first place... Oh, of course she tried to pull something like that. All I do is grin. You let me? I'm pretty sure I didn't drag you here. You let me pick, you know. What happened to giving me my amateur taste a chance, huh? I watch Victoria try to swallow back a smile, and it totally reaches her lips anyways. Technicalities, Max. And there she goes, waving her hand at me dismissively, her eyes scanning the boardwalk, like she's looking for something in particular. I don't know if she's finding it, because I follow her lead, my gaze landing on the few people milling up and down the boardwalk. I recognize some of the students from Blackwell, most of which I really don't talk to. Others are just locals, most of which are fishermen. Today, Victoria doesn't immediately come up with anything to say, and that's worrying in herself. That's worrying in itself. I scan her face, catching the little crease between her brows. Yeah, you think there'd be a lot more people here? Victoria looks back at me, and her lips curl down a little. She sighs tensely. No, not really. I'm not surprised. Arcadia Bay's practically a fucking ghost town, and it's so early, I'm not surprised there's not much going on. At the words, I find myself sagging my shoulders a little. Victoria frowns at me and crosses her arms. God, don't look so upset. That doesn't mean we can't make something work. You think? I don't think, Max. Victoria walks up next to my side, tapping my back. I straighten up instinctively at the invasive touch. With us, I know. At the very least, Victoria's clear path in us helps to ease out some of the tension I'm feeling. We can do this. I know we can do this. It's no time for me to be wallowing in whatever stupid self-doubt I have. We won't get anywhere like that. My first instinct is to reach for my camera bag, though I'm very promptly stopped when Victoria puts her hand on my arm. Not so fast, Caulfield. I tilt my head at her, and I wonder if she can actually see the question marks above my head. I think she wants to get right into it. She's staring down at me curiously, a slight slant on her lips. What's the problem this time? Wow? I'm kidding. What is it? I just have something I want to ask you. I retract my hand from my camera bag, and I think that makes Victoria realize she's still got her hand laid over mine. She pulls it away quickly. Instead, moving to lean on the trunk of her car, like that makes whatever she's going to say next any less intimidating. I cross my arms over my chest, waiting patiently. Go for it. I wanted to ask you why you care so much about... Victoria gestures to our surroundings, and I assume she's talking about the people. Or, lack, in this case. Oh. Oh, I don't know. Like I said before, it's mostly because I know people are kind of your thing, you know? So I thought it'd be fair if we came to a spot with a lot of people. There's a beat of silence before Victoria actually responds, and something in her jaw tenses and locks for an instant. What? Like you're giving me a handicap? As if I can't take manage when I'm out of my element? Are you saying I'm not versatile enough? Oh no. At Victoria's words, I wince a little and swallow thickly. There's something in Victoria's tone that throws me off. It's not outrageously angry. It sounds more like wounded. More disappointed. No, it's seriously not that. I just wanted you to be comfortable, you know? Victoria pauses and then she rubs at her own arm, peeling her gaze off of me. I watch the muscles in her jaw at work and I feel kind of bad. Victoria has to collect herself, and really, I'm not in a rush. When she finally does manage to say something, she leaves an almost annoyed sigh. It's seriously not that big of a deal. It's not? It's not. Victoria flicks her wrist at me, resting her elbow against the cart and standing up straighter. Sure, this place isn't like fucking Seattle or something. I know. But people are not. Like I said literally a few minutes ago, it hardly matters. Whether or not there are any idiots around to photograph it, it's not going to stop us from taking remarkable images. Yeah, I guess you're right. I avert my gaze from Victoria almost bashfully at the smug smirk she gives me. Of course I'm right. Just remember, Max, all these people aren't my partner. You are. I'm silent for a second, and I can't help myself. Max is blushing. I laugh a little, although I feel my ears heating up, my face flushing red at the way Victoria says that. I can't help that I love the way that sounds. Victoria, I'm sorry, but that was pretty tacky, like super cheesy. Victoria brushes a little too brightly, and it makes me grin again, taking control of the situation. But, fuck off, oh my god, ungrateful. No, it's fine, it was nice hearing that. I feel like it's probably better to placitate her, before she gets even more flustered. Sure, whatever. Victoria scowls at me, her pink cheeks fading. You still suck. Yeah, okay, sure, Victoria. I'm totes aware that I've probably got the stupidest grin on my face. And then I remember we should probably make an effort to start our project, now that we've actually completely settled down. I take a few steps back, prompting Victoria to follow me with a raised brow. So I know it's near Seattle, but we should probably get started? Victoria hums in agreement at that, and we take the time to pace down the boardwalk. Similarly quiet in our research for the perfect shot. Or maybe that's too ambitious. At this point, we're just trying to find anything to look at. Victoria? Something has been bugging me ever since she brought it up earlier. And maybe it shouldn't, but when she mentioned Seattle, I couldn't help myself. What? Victoria's response is curt, and I frown at the sound. I don't exactly respond quick, prompting her to turn to me. She pauses and then sighs, speaking easier. I can tell she's tense despite all that talk from earlier. I'm sorry, what is it? I was wondering. About Seattle. You came from there, right? Victoria seems to be taken completely off guard at the question. She shrugs after a moment. Yeah, what about it? The thought of Seattle makes me feel unsure. An awkward discomfort settling in the pit of my stomach. So, in all actuality, I'm not sure what I'm actually asking about. Just that I want to know something about it. Well, do you really think it's better than Arcadia Bay? You're just full of loaded questions today. Victoria speaks cautiously, and then she purses her lips. I do, I guess. It's hopelessly plain here. At the thought of that comparison, I hum almost absent-mindedly. All I can do is grasp at the strap of my bag. Ever since I moved here, I haven't really thought about it much. Probably for the best, I think. It's not like I left much behind. I'd only really had Fernando and Kristen to keep me company. And as amazing friends as they'd been, coming back to Chloe had far outweighed that. I almost feel like an asshole for thinking like that. I guess so. You're right, that there's way more to look at over there. And you know that how? It takes me a second to process Victoria's question, and then I stop and turn to face her, my eyes wide. Wait, did you think I've lived here my whole life? What? Victoria stops for a second, and I watch her sputter helplessly. Oh my goodness. Are you telling me you haven't? I grin wryly at her. Sorry to disappoint, but nope. Oh. It's actually pleasant to hear Victoria stumped for once. Like, she's totally at a loss with this information. Or maybe at not knowing it. As great as is to have her speechless, I decide to help her out. Yeah, I used to live up in Seattle, until I came back here. You came back. For Blackwell, I'm assuming? At that, I can't help it. My smile drops a little, and I run my thumb anxiously down at the strap of my bag. She's right, of course. And she totally knows it's right. It wouldn't bother me so much if it didn't make me remember all the grief I'd caused Chloe. Kind of. There was also Chloe. Right, Chloe. Victoria grinds that out as sarcastically as she can, and it actually makes me wince slightly. She seems to catch on to my reaction, though, and surprisingly, I watch her sigh and soften up. Please, don't even. Are you seriously telling me you came back for Chloe? Maybe? Blackwell is a big deal, Max. An old best friend isn't. No. Victoria is wrong about that. Even if I did initially come back because I heard about Blackwell, that doesn't mean... That's not true. Victoria tenses and suddenly she places her hand on my arm. Something about the gesture is so off that my irritation is replaced with confusion. Chill, that's not what I meant. What I meant is that, for fuck's sake, Max, it's not a crime for you to put your own aspirations first. People talk so much shit about being selfish, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to be. Victoria speaks quickly, although her voice is low and gentle, like she's trying to get it all into my skull. I swallow dryly. I guess so. But at the same time, I can't help but feel a little bad. You know? Victoria purses her lips at me, sliding her hand down my arm. Apparently not by much, though I understand what you're trying to get at. Your insistence on being so kind is fucking nauseating, Max. Well, have you ever considered that your insistence on being mean is too? I tease, but there's something deeply serious about it. Victoria watches me and then snaps her jaw shut like she's got nothing to say. For a second. Maybe we both have things to learn. You think? Maybe, but right now I'd rather focus on this. Victoria changes the subject so quickly I can't even be sure she said it. Not that it matters, not when I already know about it. I smile, scratching at the back of my neck. You're right, but I was thinking. Victoria groans, as melodramatic as ever, wrinkling her nose at me. Something you've been doing too much of today, apparently. Quit it, I'm being serious. Max is hungry again. Mostly. My stomach growls dangerously, and Victoria freezes for a second. She catches my gaze, and I blush a little. Oh, are you? She quips sarcastically, and I offer a sheepish grin. We might work better on a full stomach. God, you're a mess. Those words came out in a little sigh, and I think they almost sounded fonder than they should be. Without any more complaining, she lays her hand at me. Your choice, Max. After we got something to eat, I ended up being able to convince Victoria to loosen up a bit and check out the shops with me. I thought it'd be better off that way since we obviously weren't finding anything before. In a sense, it did. We spent so much time window shopping and browsing that before we knew it, the sun is high in the sky and the wooden planks are filled with pedestrians. At least as much as it will be. The plus to all of us is that Victoria seemed a lot more intense. It seems a lot more at ease now. Victoria is walking up ahead of me, and I've got my camera in my hands, but it usually feels heavy when I'm burdened by the thought of an assignment. But right now it feels light. I'm not really focused on anything in particular. As I look through my viewfinder, I'm just imagining photos that could be, testing lighting. And then Victoria whirls around to face me, mouth open, hand on her hip. Where exactly did you want to go next? Oh, no. and my finger presses down on the shutter. The reaction is so instinctive, so immediate that I don't even realize I've taken a picture until I'm faced with Victoria, wide eyes through my viewfinder. Did you just... Lowering my camera, I bite my lip and take the photo from my camera, waving it once, twice. When I check it, I grin at the shot. Victoria, mid-speech, standing amongst the few pedestrians of Arcadia Bay. What I love the most is the fluidity of the shot. Wow, that's actually really good, Max. Kinda shocked. Victoria's perfect posture amongst a stream of people. You look good. Victoria straightens, pulling out her camera with ease. She rolls her eyes at my expression, probably, and then points it right at me. I have hardly any time to adjust, standing with the photo and my camera. Smile, Caulfield. I already am. At Blackwell, me and Victoria winding up, sitting on the freshly cut grass of the courtyard, going through all our photographs. My Polaroid photos are spread on the grass in front of our legs, little squares against the green lawn in contrast. Victoria just has her camera on her lap, open to the camera roll. I'm pressed up real close against her side and peer over her shoulder. In retrospect, it feels a lot more intimate than it should. Maybe not just us sitting like this, but just me being here with Victoria in the first place. I'm used to just seeing the Vortex Club obnoxiously taking up this space. Whenever we're out of class during the mornings or at lunch, all huddled up laughing at whatever. Of course, Victoria is included in that too. Now, instead of her sitting here with them, it's with me. Hello, Max, are you even listening? Huh? Yeah, Victoria squints at me suspiciously, pulling her finger back from where she'd been prodding at one of my photographs. When I check, it's nothing special, just a general landscape shot of the boardwalk itself. Okay, not convincing. What did I just say? How much do you like that one? I tease, and Victoria laughs in disbelief. You wish. Oof, so you're saying you don't? Victoria hums instead of giving me a real solid response, and I roll my eyes at her. Okay, so maybe I wasn't paying attention. But I so am right now. Sure you are, only because I had to jerk you back to reality. She knocks my arm off with hers, and I huff softly, mock offended. A pout makes its way onto my lips. I am! After the shoot, Victoria had seemed a lot more relaxed. Or, I guess the atmosphere is just more relaxed in general. And definitely not as tense as before, either. Maybe it's the fact that all we have left to do is choose between our photos. I seriously thought that'd be a lot more stressful. It's not. At least Victoria doesn't make it stressful. Stress-free or not, I rub at my eyes and try to focus. We have to pick something for our submission. And now Victoria's staring right at me again. Real serious. With how close we are, all I can do is manage a sheepish smile. Okay, what is it? I want to know, just for reference, which one is your favorite? I blink at the question, not really sure I've heard it right. Victoria puts her camera down between our knees. My favorite? Which one I think looks the best? Not exactly, though that is important. I mean personal preference. That's not really a hard question to answer. Not at all. I already know exactly which photo comes to mind. It's just a little embarrassing to admit. I lean back on my hands and I draw in a long breath of air to prepare myself for the inevitable post-answer explanation. Well, it actually takes me a moment to lean forward again, just so I can tap my finger against the one showcasing Victoria. When she's turned to me, ready to speak, and highlighted by the pedestrians behind her. That one? There's this hesitant pause in her breath, and I rest my palm against my jeans, rubbing my hand down them. Yeah, definitely. What about yours? I counter just before she can grill me about my choice, not sure that I can handle that just yet. Victoria straightens her shoulders, tensing up. I can feel it right against my side. She heaves a huge sigh, and just from that I can tell she's not particularly confident about any of them. Out of mine? None. There's a note of irritation to her voice, backed with just the slightest disappointment. I frown, peering back down at her digital camera. None? No way! They're so good! She pauses and hesitates. I know they're good, but they're not amazing or anything. I don't see anything special in them. Nothing particularly remarkable. Just then she deflates a little. She sags down slightly, grimacing down at her camera and turning her head away from me. Victoria. It's whatever. I was thinking. I want you to submit yours instead. My heart freezes up in my chest at the words, and I sit up straighter. What? Victoria glances at me, swallowing dryly and running her fingers through her bangs. I watch the apprehension flash over her face. What, Max, are you, milking this for all it's worth? Defensive as ever, I shake my head quickly. I said you should submit yours. Sorry, I'm just surprised. Oh, why is that? We've talked about this. There's this curiosity in her tone, but it's laced with something miffed, something worry. She curls her fingers up in her cashmere sweater, and I bite the inside of my cheek. She's nervous, I think. It's because your photos are pretty incredible, too. Victoria scrunches up her nose and sniffs. I already told you they aren't. I raise my hand to cut her off, and she scowls at me. You might not think so, but don't you think you're pretty biased? I mean, I don't think the rest of mine are amazing either. That's just because I look at them. That's because I took them. We're our own worst critics, right? Or something like that. Victoria shuts her mouth and ends up just grumbling, nudging me back when I flash her a self-satisfied smile. Okay, alright. You have a point there. Regardless, I still think you should submit yours. There's no hesitation in her voice as she tells me this, none at all. It's still really sinking in, that even after all this, she's prepared to let me take the reins. Okay. If you really think I should, then I will. I agree quietly, and that's when I feel it. The way Victoria loosens up, muscles almost melting against me, and by an affirmation of her demand. I gently bump her shoulder with mine, letting her know that I'm here. Right. I wouldn't say no. Good. If we don't win, I'm skinning you alive. A laugh bubbles out of my throat, and Victoria joins me. Wow, okay. Aggressive much? Only a little. Do you think I'm joking? Rolling my eyes, I reach over to take the photo in my hands, running my thumbs over it. The sun feels warm, the grass is soft, and Victoria is a better heater than her ice-cold demeanor would usually suggest. I let myself sink against her side. She doesn't move away from me, not even 1 inch. All she does is hum. I don't know, Victoria. I think you're warming up to me. It's quiet for a few beats, and I wonder about the lack of a response, of another thinly veiled insult or snappy remark. You'd like that, wouldn't you? She finally counters, challenging me. When I respond, I don't even have time to think about it. Maybe I would. Ooh. Oh, this is getting juicy. Alright guys, I'm going to cut it off here. Next video, we're going to see if we won the contest, and hopefully things go better with me and Victoria. Or with Max and Victoria. Like and favorite this video. For now, this is Zelda42293 signing off, and I will see you all in the next video.